Hello and welcome to another episode of the Just Go Watch podcast. You're
The
back
Just Go
with
Watch
me.
Pod.
The Hatchaplan. And
Give
of
me the
course,
hatch.
the movie Psycho.
And the movie Psycho.
And of course, we also have Deej.
Absolute dog shit.
I don't need
Absolute
I don't
fucking
need.
dog shit.
I do not need to see it to know it's dog shit. That is
You-
actually the only
You
bit
cut
of
Deej off so bad that he's not even going to be on the show. That's how well
He's
you
not even gonna
timed
be
that
here.
out.
He's not even going to be here. No, he's still. I just don't know if does he care about the pod anymore?
I doubt it.
That's two
I
he's
doubt
missed.
it. And this one is a
You know,
comic book movie
This is a-
kind of thing, and he
this is a
doesn't
big
like those. He's not a big fan of that.
no. Maybe that's why he's missed this one. Because if we were going to talk about comic book movies, I would say you're the one. You're the expertise,
Right.
here.
You and I, we kind of lead the charge when it comes to comic book story movies and based on that. Whereas Deed, he's kind of lost in the mist on that.
Yeah, he. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that he's not here. I don't know if his heart's still in it. I really question his commitment to this pod. I mean, I know you see him in quite the Messiah way, so it must be quite troubling for you.
It's shaking the faith a little bit. He did. I don't know if you saw it. He did send a message. It was kind of broken up a little bit, and I could only get like a few words. It was Hatch, kids, basement, something else. I'm trying to think what else he put in.
That damn
there.
interference.
I don't know what else. It was
Who
just.
knows?
I don't know what the context of these words are, so I'm not 100% sure where he was going.
Probably
and at the end, he
completely
said something to the
unimportant.
effect of, "MP, you are my idol and my hero, and I wish I could live long enough to be the man that you are." Now that came through pretty clear.
That came, okay, good. I should probably actually introduce what film we're doing because I was so keen to get in that joke of mugging Deej off that I actually didn't talk about the film. So
you
we
are
are
quite the Joker.
Job done. Look at us. The madness of two here.
We are talented.
That's right. We are doing Joker Folie à Deux, which has just come out this weekend. I presume, is that the same for you as well?
Yes.
Over in the States. So what a nice thing to have a film that actually comes out on the same day, irrespective of
it
the
does
country.
happen about once a month.
Thank
for
you,
us
Hollywood.
on this podcast.
Jeez. Directed by Todd Phillips. This is, of course, the sequel to Joker. Still starring Joaquin Phoenix with a runtime of 138 minutes. Lady Gaga, of course, joining him on this one as not quite Harleen Quinzel, I think they call her. But essentially, she is Harley Quinn.
Yes.
What do you think the budget is? Do you know? Have you already seen?
I have not looked this one up. Despite what Deej might say, I have a little bit of integrity. I know it's more than what it was on the first movie. That's all I know.
Do you know the first one?
The first one I think was around 50 million.
Yeah. 50,
which is
55.
incredible because it made like $1 billion. That's insane. This one has to be higher. I mean, everybody's going to get their pay raise. I'll go 120 million.
Well, it's funny that we say that this is a comic book movie because this is doing comic book movie budget numbers 190 to 200 million.
No way. Everybody did get a raise on this one.
Yeah, they did. But then if you think about all the set pieces, but if you think about all of the stuff that's happening on screen,
maybe licensing songs.
Hey, look,
I guess
I'm sure that money was well spent. What do you think it's done at the box office? So we are Sunday afternoon, evening. So we have, as far as I'm aware, let me just double check. I believe this is the full weekend's figures.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. I don't even know. God.
Worldwide as well. Of course.
Yeah, this is tough. I went the other night and there was hardly anybody in the movie theater. There's been a lot of talk about the movie, but not a lot of good positive buzz. I don't know. Geez. Let's go. I don't know. Let's go 50 million.
Okay, it's actually sitting on 121. So domestic
Wow.
was 40,
Okay.
international 81. So it's doing all right.
It's
Opening
doing all
weekend,
right.
That's doing. In fact, I mean, let's call it that. I mean, that is good. That is good, isn't it? Really.
I don't know though. On a
Or any kind
$190, $200 or $200 million budget though. Whew. You have to make a lot of money.
Well, yeah. Let's crack on with a plot of this one, because I actually think this one is a fairly simple plot.
Yeah, this should be pretty easy.
So the plot, yeah, maybe that's Hollywood throwing me a bone here. The Folie Deux then is obviously the Joker. Arthur Fleck is in Arkham State Hospital, having been caught after all of his crimes, killing those people in the previous film. He's got his defense lawyer working on his stuff because he's going to be going to court soon, when he meets Harleen Quinzel in a music therapy session in the lighter sort of Arkham bit, not the high security bit that he's in. They get a little bit of a affection going. She starts a fire. They do a bit of a faux escape, but don't really get away. She supposedly grew up near him and had a similar life to him, so he's really into her. Then his trial starts, and Harley or Lee is coming to the trial, who's there, and his defense lawyer tells him she is not all that she claims to be. So basically she's been lying, and she's actually a rich girl whose parents are alive. She's never really done anything, and she checked herself in just to try and get close to him, because he is, of course, the Joker. He fires his defense solicitor and then tries to represent himself, but eventually basically feels sorry and kind of renounces the whole Joker thing, at which point Harley ditches him and says fuck you, and then to really rub salt into the wound, the stomach wound, he gets stabbed in the stomach several times by one of the other inmates and left for dead. And that is pretty much the end of Arthur Fleck.
And that is the plot summary of this film. I'm just in the musical mode because of this movie. I think we should sing song this all the way through it.
All the way through. I don't think we'd have any listeners left by the end. All right, so that is Joker Folie Deux. What was your assessment and what was your rating?
All right. Well, I have to say it is interesting to watch the evolution of a Batman villain, learning all of the all the little character traits and kind of getting sympathetic with a character that you normally wouldn't be grasping onto because this is a bad guy, but you actually end up rooting for a character, and it pulls you into this world. And it was really great to watch The Penguin on HBO Max. It's an excellent show. Now on to Joker Filet a Duck. You see what I did there? I kind of fooled everybody with what I was talking about. All right. Joker Filet a Duck, as we say here in America. This is this is such a weird movie in and of itself, but also to kind of review. For me, anyway, as a fan of films, it just was like part of the movie felt like, okay, we don't really have an idea what we're doing for a sequel, but we have to make it because they're going to throw a lot of money at us. So just kind of throw some shit together and kind of half-ass it through this. And then the other side, on the technical side of this movie, it looks really well made. I mean, all of the direction and the camera, and you got some great tracking shots through the prison. You've got some excellent performances. Joaquin kind of fits right back into this character, although it's not as shocking as it was in the first one. I don't think he takes it in those directions. But, you're familiar with the character at this point, so it's not going to be that way. Lady Gaga's fine. They don't give her a whole lot to do as this quote-unquote Harley Quinn. She's got a great singing voice, even though I'm not a big fan of, I don't really listen to her music, but I know she's got a really talented voice. But that really fit in for the movie. I also love seeing Brendan Gleeson in anything, so always seeing him on screen makes me happy. Playing a prison guard. I don't know, did you ever see a movie called The Guard that he did years ago? He plays a policeman. I did not. Oh, you should watch it. It's very excellent. Anybody who wants to see
is that the one in Ireland?
Yeah, where he's a police officer, and he's kind of the most politically incorrect police officer out there. But he was great in that movie.
I might have done.
So anyway, like I said, I'm always happy to see him in the movie. But as the movie itself, like I said, technically, that's what made it so weird. I'm like, okay, somebody put some artistry and some love into that aspect of this movie. Todd Phillips didn't like half-ass his direction, just like phone it in. However, when you flip over to this plot story, whatever the hell it is, it's just brutal because it's boring. It goes on forever. I say you said it was a little over 2 hours. It felt like 3. You're basically rehashing the first movie as a character for Arthur because he starts out again as that simple guy that's had these issues. This time he's in the prison, and he finally, through Harley, becomes the Joker again. Only, like you said, he renounces it at the end. But it's the same shit you've seen. The relationship between these two psychopaths you don't really care about because these are two horrible people. I didn't get invested in that. The courtroom stuff, it's just a recap of the first movie. They even have flashbacks in it, for God's sake. So I was just like, what are we watching here? Why is there all this care and love into the making of it, but not into the writing of the script? And then, the elephant in the room is the musical stuff. And God, they were not joking when they called this a musical because holy shit, there was a musical scene. Like every other scene, they're singing. I went to the bathroom. There was one song. I came back there singing a whole nother song. Even all the way at the end, they're singing. I'm like, stop, just please stop. I wanted the father from Monty Python and the Holy Grail to come out. Remember that scene where the one kid wants to sing? He goes, no, stop that music, stop that music. I kept waiting for someone to come out and stop it and make it
Get
stop.
on with it.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then you get to the end, and some have said it's kind of bold for him to do that. And it felt like a lot of this movie was like a reaction to what fans said about the first movie. Although I will say at the end, it was a bit bold and shocking to have Arnold come out dressed up as Mr. Freeze and yell, chill out, Joker. But other than that, this movie, it was brutal to get through on there's nothing here to just latch onto. I didn't enjoy it. I was bored out of my mind. And like I said, I got tired of the singing. So, on a technical level, looked great. But other than that, I'm going to give it about a 4.5.
All right. Oh man. I mean, I don't even think I had high hopes going into this film because the Joker was just great on its own, but it was almost like this is going to be a reimagined version. We're looking at more of the, realistically, if Joker was a villain, how would that look? And it is, you've got Phoenix looking up into that actual sort of condition where you laugh when you're stressed and stuff, and it obviously creates serious problems. He does it so well. And you really buy into this guy who's been beaten down by the system. He's obviously got his own issues, but there's no one there to help him, which is then almost shown across the whole city. And that's why he becomes that symbol. And he's almost just right place, right time in terms of being put on this pedestal by society, because he himself is very much nothing. But he kind of thrives off it. And it was a really good sort of conversation starter about that. These types of people who get shunned away, and with also having that kind of villain-esque bit to it. And then this, I don't know, they start the film and he's back to square one. They almost don't really do much with the Joker style of things. I don't know what this movie is for. What was the aim? And I think, like you said, I think this was just a mandated, let's make another one because we made loads of money. But what are we going to do with it? I don't know. Definitely didn't look like the director knew. The music was so grating. So grating. Every time something important would happen, you'd be like, wow, that's impactful. I can't wait to see how the characters react to that. No, they just have a sing song. And I was like, for fuck's sake. And every time that happens, I just felt the movie just slow to a fucking stationary, just stops. And you're like, right, fucking hell, you might as well have just paused it because someone's going to go on a song break and then we'll just reconvene. I'll be interested to see how much of this movie is song, because it did feel like it was fucking loads. God, this film dragged. The first hour, fuck me. I went to see it with the girl, and at 40 minutes, I literally leaned over and I was like, this is gonna be a long fucking 2 hours. Because I was already like, fucking hell, get on with it. Fuck me, this is just so boring. It was so boring. And I felt bad saying that because Phoenix, God, he's put himself through the ringer for this again. Because look at him. He's obviously dropped all that weight. You know, it's almost what's his name? Christian Bale levels of like, you know, weight dropping and putting it back on. He does it really well. I thought Gaga was fine. I didn't, as you said, it wasn't a great match I had to do. And the performances of characters were individually okay. Phoenix obviously just steals the show, but fucking hell, like what a waste of time. What just a waste of time.
Yeah.
I'd never want to see this again. I came
No.
out and you know, she doesn't want to do any kind of let's get really into it. And she was like, no, just make it bloody quick, save it for the podcast. I said, fine.
Are we talking about the movie or something else right now?
What's your I said, what's your rating? And would you watch it again? You know. And she said, no, we'll watch it again. I was like, okay, fine. And I was like, yeah, there's no way I want to watch this again. I don't want to go near this film ever again.
No.
And for me, it's below average. The only thing that keeps it propped up is Phoenix, as you said, the cinematography and the direction around that is a beautiful looking film, you know, for what it is. Obviously, it's not beautiful stuff that you're seeing, but the direction and things, it's good. But it's a 4.5 because
Look at there.
get this thing out. Get this thing away from me.
See, we agreed on this one as well. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was the hard part because it was a good-looking movie and the performances were good. But god dang, everything else is like they just. I don't even know if they had a script. They were just like, okay, it's time for a song, and it wasn't like a quick, you know, Oompa Loompa song for like a minute. It was like a full-on musical number for 5 minutes in the movie. You're like, God, make it stop.
Yeah, and I just that first hour. When you think about like so
God,
the first hour you don't get to trial, right? The trial, and do you know what's funny is I've just watched the Menendez brothers thing on Netflix.
Have you? How was that? I haven't watched that.
It's a very good watch. I mean, I'm always I don't like watching the fictionalized ones because they change things, and Netflix do. I looked it up afterwards because I have to look. I want to know exactly what happened.
Right.
And Netflix do change some things about. And I'm like, why'd you have to do that? So, but it was good. It's good kind of watching. I like, you know, the court stuff. Because they do get some things right. And this, I'm looking at it and I was like, this is just shit court, you know?
Yes,
this is just shit. I
was
won't have a circus
Joe,
here as you're letting
but you can wear your
paparazzi
Joker,
and
you let you wear your Joker makeup as your
yeah, it's
courtroom.
just but at least the courtroom stuff was a little bit more entertaining. That first hour, we were just bumming around the asylum.
Yes.
And the asylum itself, you know, it didn't strike me as anything. It was a couple of corridors, a movie room, and his cell. I didn't get any kind of. We see outside it, but I don't get any real thing that this is where the. And maybe that's the real world part of it. You know, it's not supposed to be that, but I don't know. I'd still like Arkham to be Arkham.
Yeah, have a little Batman feel to it, but yeah, I don't know where they spent $200 million though, because like you said, you get a corridor scene here and and then they're in the courtroom, and that's it.
Yeah, and oh yeah, we've got music therapy sessions. I mean, like Gleason, I thought he was quite funny because you do get little snippets of his character, like he wants to be he's singing, and that bit. I thought there's some bits that are quietly amusing.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's sort of keeping an eye out on Joker, but he's also like, anyway, what do you think of my voice? You know, type of thing. And then we get this sort of bad romance with Lady Gaga.
Yeah. That's just there. It's like there's nothing built up. Which I guess in context it makes sense because she's really just manipulating him because she wants to be a part of his stardom, as it were. She wants to latch on to that. So she's going to manipulate him, and he's easy because he just wants to be loved. And then you fall into the same things that you had in the first movie. Is this really happening? And is it not? And what is he perceiving and all that stuff? So again, you're right. There were interesting little things here and there, but it just, what you said in your review, at that point where you're in the movie theater, you're finally after sitting there for 45 minutes going on board. Wait, there's something interesting. Okay, now we're gonna do another song, and it just kills every momentum that they build up in those moments.
Yeah, and I also don't really know what they were going for. I guess the whole thing is, in the court, the crowds are. I still don't know why he at this point is loved by the people. Do you know what I mean? It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
He's just sat in that asylum. I mean, I hated that we start and he's just nothing again.
Yeah,
We get no smiles, no jokes, nothing. At
Because
the end of the first movie,
yeah,
he's like
he's the
standing
Joker.
victorious.
Yeah.
And then he's laughing in that cell, and we get that. I mean, that ending of that first film was fucking perfect, where he's laughing along, and then it's like you wouldn't get it. I mean, what a fucking ending! What an ending!
Yes, and
That is
he's
just
become that person that he wanted to be.
That menace, that threat, that Joker personality, where he's, is he dead behind the eyes, or is there some sort of malign intelligence there? You don't know. He keeps you guessing.
Yes.
That's the kind of thing, because at the end of the first one, you could have said, "Oh, was this all just in his head? Has this whole film just been in his head?"
Right.
And he's just a nutter, and it's just he's laughing at himself because that's what he's imagined. You had even things thinking like that, and then this. Yeah, no, he's just now depressed because he's in the Arkham Asylum.
It's a split
and
personality.
we're waiting to go to trial.
Is it a split personality or not a split personality? Yeah,
I wasn't too. I mean, I wasn't too fussed about whether it was a split personality stuff, right? And I kind of almost wish they'd lent into your defense has a plan. This is what she's going with, and that's what she wants to do. And then you had almost this real conflict about him being like, but I am Joker. It's not a split. He wants maybe he wants to own it.
Right, exactly. That's who he is. He doesn't want to. He wants to embrace that instead of all that. And I guess he kind of does when he's questioning people, but then he accepts the responsibility for what he did. Which again, it could have been an interesting development in the movie if you did it right. But it's so herky-jerky as you're watching it. By the time you get there, you just feel like, oh, okay, well, now he regrets everything he did. Fine, whatever.
Yeah. And you're kind of there like, is this just him or is this just a poker face? And you don't really get any answers because as soon as he's Joker, he's not. He has the one kind of sing-song I probably enjoyed was the one in the courtroom, where he's dressed up and he's like smashes the judge on the head. And that one's not bad. I can't even remember the song that they did for it, but that was, I could have seen, could have done that. And then he's almost snapping back to reality, because actually he is unhinged and that kind of thing is, he's not just dancing around in front of the paparazzi. He is there. He is there, but not there. But instead, it's much more like, "Oh, sorry, Your Honor, I'm here."
Yeah.
He just comes like the idiot, and I know he kind of is from the first one.
Yeah, but like you said, in the first one, he had progressed past that, and now we're going to start this movie right back where we started.
Do you know what I'd have really liked as an idea? And I had this thought actually as I was watching the fucking film, is that
you had time. You had plenty of time to rewrite this.
I had plenty of time. I had plenty of time. Oh, musical number. Let my brain just go off to somewhere else. So what I would have enjoyed would have been like, so the first one, he is that kind of hero, but he's almost like, oh, they like me. But he is essentially not a very smart guy, right?
Man.
And he doesn't really know how they don't know him. They just have this image of the Joker, right? Whereas actually, if they knew him, like most people in his life, they probably wouldn't really think much of him. So I'd have liked it if maybe they break him out of prison or he gets out of prison on some sort of technicality, something like that. I don't know. And then he's put on this pedestal by the downtrodden, by these people who think that he was some anti-hero who was sticking it to the man and the rich people. And then he's almost a bit like, they're like, it's a bit like the life of Brian, like, oh, tell us what to do. And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, wow, he's letting us decide ourselves.
Yeah, they're just trying to, whatever he says, that's the direction they're going to go in. Yeah, that could have been interesting.
I'd have quite enjoyed something like that.
And then you could have had it maybe at the end, whereas in this one he gets killed by the other crazy inmate. But you could have had the same situation, but you could have just had someone else who was a bigger believer and realizes he's a fraud and says, "No, I'm the Joker." You know what I mean? Yeah, something
exactly.
interesting would have been nice instead of what we got, which is mostly a rehash, or we're redoing the same exact thing we did in the first movie. Like I said, that's why it felt so weird to me, because as I'm watching the movie, you would think if you just are gonna half-ass a sequel, you would just go through the motions. But like I said, the camera work and the cinematography, the sound, the acting, I'm like, why is this movie bad when it should not be bad?
Yeah, I think it was, I don't know. I mean, when the first one came out, it was kind of like oh yeah, you like comic books, do you? Yeah, well, we're gonna fuck around with your comic book movies and make a non-comic book movie, and then people loved it. So now he's like, oh, you enjoyed that, did you? Well, now I'm going to make your non-comic book movie a fucking comic book musical movie.
Yeah, God.
And he's Todd Phillips is well done, mate. Well done. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't made a film that we don't actually enjoy.
Yeah, that's something about this movie, and there are really a lot of things. I know we have talked that you watched the what is it, the Ring of Power and all, or whatever, the Lord of the Rings thing show and all that. And I watched Star Wars
Still
stuff,
struggling through it.
But it's like something that I don't know. It kind of gets under my skin is when you get a director or someone like that who has this property, but doesn't really accept the responsibility of the property. They're just like, fuck it, we're going to do what we want to do. I can understand that on agree. And I think that, if you are going to do a Star Wars movie or a Lord of the Rings movie or something, and you want to push it in a different direction, that's fine. But you do have to also understand that there have been things set up through history of these characters and whatever. This isn't your character. You didn't invent the Joker. You just latched onto it. So you got to
I think I disagree almost. I think I disagree. If you have this established thing with a set thing there, you can't. You need to, if you want to do your own thing, 100%. And this is one of the things, the arguments I always make when you have people come in and say, "Oh, but can't he be this? Because that's what I'd like." It's like, no, right. This is what this person has created. Okay, so whether it's George Lucas, whether it's Games Workshop, whatever, whether it's Joe Bloggs who's writing his own thing, right? If they've written it that way, then that's the way it is. And if you're not happy with it, then write your own fucking one or shut up. That's the way I kind of think about it, right? And if you then if you say, okay, we're going to take this book that this person's written and we're going to change it, but we do need to change certain things for TV, right? Because this won't translate. Right. Then that is fine. Yes. But if you then say, oh, but we don't like that, well, you're not taking what it is. So when if you're going to say, look, I kind of want to make this, but I'm going to take the image of what it is, then you need to be respectful to that. I mean, Joker was like, okay, I respect the first one. I mean, I respect what it was. Can I put it in a real world setting?
Yes.
How would this look in a real world setting? That's, you are keeping true to it whilst you're just, because I thought that worked really well.
That's what I was saying.
That worked really, really well.
About? You said you disagree. That's kind of what I was saying.
Is it?
Yeah,
I thought you were saying like if you're. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm always very, very, when I hear like, oh yeah, but we're going to change it, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I think if someone comes into it, like you said, with the Joker, it says, or even we could take Christopher Nolan, who took Batman and said, okay, I'm going to ground Batman. But he also knew enough about Batman, or he had the rules to where it was a Batman movie. Does that make sense? Where he didn't just piss all over it and go, this is my Batman and he's going to do what I want him to do. I think as long as the filmmaker or the writer or whatever understands what came before them a little bit, so they can, if they want to deviate, maybe just change lanes, not like create a whole new highway. That's why people get angry and upset, because it's like, okay, this isn't, it's not so much that you're doing something new or different, is that you're just taking what came before and acting like no one ever. Is it like the Lord of the Rings stuff? You're taking everything that Tolkien wrote and was like, fuck that. We're gonna make this show the way we want to make it. Well, you can't do that.
That's unforgivable for me. That's unforgivable. When they talk about, and I know we've gone off on a tangent here, but when they,
we don't want to talk about this movie.
We're gonna bring it for a modern audience. We're gonna hang on a second. you can't say you've been a fan of this your whole life, but then say we're going to bring it because you can't be a fan of it. How are you a fan of it if you then want to change it all? That doesn't make any sense.
Or
If
even
you aren't happy with how Tolkien wrote it, how J.R. Martin wrote it, whoever it is, whatever art, then write your own fucking story
Exactly.
and don't piss on somebody
Yeah.
else's or use them as a stepping stone. Oh, people have heard of this. We can use the name because they'll come and watch it, but then we'll just change it and make it ours. Like, no. That is unforgivable.
It's
Like,
not
and that's-
yours. You didn't
exactly.
make that.
You're on the edge of glory here, and then you've
Yeah.
thrown it out.
Or even
Yeah.
when you have someone like, and I hate to kick it while it's down, but the Acolyte, where the showrunner's like, well, I was hiring writers that didn't know anything about Star Wars. So like, well, then why did you get surprised when Star Wars fans were like, what the fuck is this shit?
Just absolutely mad. Just absolutely mad. I mean, talking about the actual film we're reviewing, the musical number that really, I mean, it was towards the end of the film, but the one that really did my head in was when you've got Joker or Arthur Fleck stood on the stairs in front of Harley, and she's there, and he's like, wait, what? He's confused. He's like, but I thought you loved me. She's rejecting him. And you can see he's almost like begging. I can almost see in real life he's begging for answers, and then she just starts singing in his face. And I was like, again, like what the? I'm in the audience, like stop fucking singing and just have a conversation. But it almost looks as though he himself there is like, stop fucking singing at me and tell me.
Please, Batman, swing into this scene and just start beating the shit out of the two of them.
I couldn't believe it. He escapes. And I was like, here we go. The random car bomb, and again, like. This is lip service to it. Oh yeah, we support Joker. Why?
Yeah, why?
Why do you
never
support
really
him?
show that? You really, I guess,
in the first film, you built it up a little bit.
Yeah,
but
because
here,
of the class warfare and all that.
Yeah, here they support him outside, but there's no real. There's a bloke who killed 5 people. Okay, so I know from the first one, 3 of them they were rich bullies. One of them was the rich guy on TV. Okay, the other guy was a clown guy, but we'll forget about him because he was a nobody, and obviously they don't know about his mother as well. But like, there's still 5 murders. One of them on national TV. What is it about this guy that you're willing to create a fucking car bomb over?
Right. Blow up half a building.
I'd have liked to see a little bit more of that, because we essentially see a few people cheering for him outside. I wanted a bit more substance to it, build on what happened at the end of the first film. Most of the first film, he's a nobody. He's completely disregarded. We get this build up right at the end, this crescendo where it's like, boom, he is now the Joker, and the people see him as this, anti-hero against the establishment. But you've now taken me 2 years ahead, and you're now showing me this depressed, decrepit Arthur Fleck in a fucking insane asylum.
Little guy.
Why has he still got that traction? Yeah. Exactly. What is it now that would make people want to do a fucking car bomb? Because in the core, we don't see much. Like when he starts representing himself, I was like, okay, here we go. This might be a bit more like, I want to see almost like that menacing Joker type that we've seen. You get what you fucking deserve. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to see that on the stand.
Yeah.
And that is what look, they're scared of him. He's the one talking truth. But instead we get, I do declare that you are. Yeah. And I was like,
it was just goofy. And then he goes,
exactly.
Oh, well, I guess I was the one that was wrong. Like, well, okay, but that wasn't the point of the first movie. The first movie was that you found that face to put on to give you all of that confidence and all of that energy, and it changed you as a person. Instead, now it could have been done better if he'd done it that way, but starting him off in prison like that again, like you said, who would after a couple of years be like, oh, that guy, I worship? It would be a handful of people. It wouldn't be legions of people willing to blow up buildings and take on police officers for this guy.
Exactly. And then that whole scene where he escapes, he's in the car then, but it's almost like he was accepting, wasn't it? He was like, yeah, I'm just a shitbag, which is again is like, oh, Okay, so we basically flirted with the idea of being Joker, but now we've just come right back down. Like
Yeah.
you've just tickled my balls there, but you've not really done anything. That's just cruel. And then he escapes, gets kind of taken away, and I was like, this is where I thought, okay, in my head, my idea where they're going to put him on this pedestal and it doesn't work
Yeah.
out is going to happen. But no,
Something
he
was
gets
gonna
away,
happen.
and then within the space of 30 seconds is caught again after a chat with
Yeah.
Harley.
Yeah.
So what was the fucking point?
Exactly.
What was the point?
There
Why
was no
you could have
point.
just shown a mini riot? You could have shown him doing all that, and then shown a mini riot, and then he gets taken back to thingy. Him escaping has no bearing on it.
Or
You
have
know?
him get out of the prison earlier in the movie. Maybe she gets him out some way, shape, or form, and all that other stuff happens. Well, we had to have 47 musical numbers that went on forever and a day.
Yeah, and then it's just and then you know the guy who stabs him, we see him twice in the movie. He doesn't have a fucking line.
Yeah, that was.
Because
That
early
was.
on we
I don't
see the camera
understand.
focus on him.
I
We see the
get
camera focus on him very quickly.
Yeah,
and that was it.
I
And I
get
was
it.
like, okay.
And I remember I don't, like I said, I don't usually watch reviews or anything, but you see stuff online or whatever. And people are like the shocking ending and the shocking ending. And then when it happened, I was like, that's not a shocking. That's Todd Phillips going for all of us after we watched the first movie that went, Batman would absolutely destroy this Joker.
Yeah.
This is him going, oh, well, that wasn't the Joker. It's just a name. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cheap.
Yeah.
And have the
Ooh, I
guy cut
subverted
his
your
mouth like that. Is
expectations.
that supposed to be something connecting to like Heath Ledger's Joker? Is that what we were
I
trying
mean,
to do there?
who
I
fucking
don't
knows? This ain't getting another one.
know.
There's no way they're making another one.
I don't think anybody involved wants to make another one. I don't think they wanted to make this one.
No. Just so bizarre. Like if they'd made it so that the guy who was following him around at first, the one who gets strangled to death,
Yeah,
if they'd made it him,
yeah,
because he could have almost been right. Well, I was saying before, where you get this hype around him, he could have been our outside people on the inside, like as in he could have been the public, the representation of the public, and how the public are seeing him. So maybe he idolizes him, which is basically a stand-in for the rest of the public outside. He idolizes him, sees him, and then if you want to do this whole "I'm not the Joker, I'm a fraud, I'm just Arthur Fleck," then it's like a betrayal of all those people.
Right.
Only if you'd blurred it up more earlier on in the movie and he hadn't been this depressed little dweeb. If you'd blurred it up and he then sees it as like, hang on, we were rooting for you, we were on your side, we were going to bust you out, you've betrayed us, you're no Joker. Boom. Now you've earned the okay, let me stab your guts up.
Yeah. And it's like you said, it's a character that we know from the movie, not some guy that was in the background for 2 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't get why you would show some other random dude who's going to die, who followed him around, and then not show us two small, tiny clips of some guy in the background, maybe kind of looking at Joker. You talk about untelegraphed. That is literally.
It was. Yeah, I guess in a way it would be. It was kind of shocking when I watched it because I had no idea who that character was, so I didn't expect it coming. But when you think about it for half a second, you're just like, okay, that was really stupid.
There's a difference between like shocking, like, oh my god, I can't believe it was that person. I can't believe it was the butler that's been in the background the whole time. But instead, this was literally like, you know, enter in new character. They were there. You
just missed him. He was sitting there eating a piece of toast at 3 scenes ago.
Yeah. I mean,
had no interaction with Arthur at all. I don't think he said anything to Arthur the whole movie, did he? Until the end.
No speaking lines. Just a couple of little camera pans. I mean, I will say that this film was good at making me want to smoke.
Everybody wanted a cigarette. Well, that was the 80s.
Yeah. I was thinking like, yeah, go on, bum me one of them. I'll have a go.
You weren't cool in the 80s if you weren't smoking.
Yeah. No, I bet not.
Actually, as I was watching the movie, I imagined was what they were doing This is going to be so stupid. When they were doing the interview on TV with Steve Coogan,
Yeah.
I was like, why not? That would have been cool if it would have been Alan Partridge, the Joker, through 2 hours. I would have watched that movie
Yeah.
and loved it.
Yeah. I didn't think much of his American accent. I was thinking I could do a
I don't
fucking
think
better
he has.
American
Yeah,
accent.
he never really has a good American accent. I've seen him in a couple other
Well,
things.
what's the
where it's like,
point? Why would you of all the people to bring in, why would you bring in somebody who's not got either? Just have him like,
yeah, be British.
there are
It's
English
okay.
hosts on American TV and there are American hosts on English TV.
Huh.
Just have him be his normal voice. Maybe not quite the Alan Partridge one, although that would have been
That would have been
been
great.
funny. This is great banter.
I would have watched 3 hours of that movie.
Yeah. It was also very. I mean, it was weird. I know it's kind of like your American trials are quite a show anyway, but like the whole yes, he's going to do an interview before the trial. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all pretty
And
mental
I do
anyway,
want to
but I suppose the
apologize
80s.
that the Joker used his fake British accent there. I hope that didn't trigger you in the audience.
No, it was nice. Familiarized it. It let me know that someone was thinking about us out there.
You could relate to his character.
Exactly. Yeah. Without that, I'd have been screwed. Did you also notice old Harvey Dent getting part of his face?
Oh God, yes.
After the
Where's
car
Harvey
bump?
Dent?
Whoa! Jingle jangle, jingle jangle.
Yeah.
Prepare for the sequel that will never come.
Yeah. It was.
Do you get it?
It was dumb to even.
Do you get
shoehorn him
it?
in there? Yeah, exactly. It's Batman. This is a Batman world. This is the Batman. You like Batman?
Imagine
There's Harvey
the
Dent.
director's like got you gripped by the lapels, like punching you. Did you get it? Did you see? Did you see
This is Batman. It is.
That's an Easter egg as he's like smashing a rock against your head. You will love it.
I think one of the ladies on the stand was a Mrs. Crane.
Was it?
Who Bob
Oh,
Crane
yeah, the doctor.
created Batman. So, well,
Oh.
allegedly. Yeah. So, yeah, there were little
Yeah,
Easter eggs here. But the Harvey Dent one
She'll
was,
be
yeah.
there for the next one.
Yeah,
She'll
Harvey
be there.
Dent was definitely especially, yeah, it was really cheesy. I groaned when they showed him with half his face cut up or burnt. Or I was like, oh, you really
Yeah.
did that. You really did that.
Yeah. Can't help themselves. Can't help
Nope.
themselves. Oh, let's
Nope.
put in a little nod. That will really do it. I mean, he's young there. He's young there as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, he was assistant DA.
God.
Where's Harvey Dent? Where's Harvey Dent?
So I don't know if you. I know
Sorry.
you said
Christian Bale.
before we
I'm
went-
channeling.
where is he? Where's Rachel?
Did you ever see
I'm not a cop.
this guy?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
I'm not wearing hockey pads. Where this guy he does this Batman character and he's like firing all these other superheroes. Have you seen that on YouTube? I can't remember what it's
No.
called. But there's one where he's the Christian Bale Batman, and he's gone into the office to fire the Joaquin Phoenix version of the Joker. And so that Joker's telling him the story. And he's like, "What the fuck is this?" See, Batman's just like, "Shoot me, just shoot me in the face. I deserve better than this villain." But it's pretty funny. You should look it
Well.
up. It's funnier than I'm making it out to be.
Well, it'd have to be.
Yeah, I deserve that.
Oh dear. So, unbeknownst to you, MP, because I know you're not a fan of the old Gaga, I've actually dropped 5 song names throughout
Have
that
you really?
episode. I have, yeah. One of them I did cheat a little bit, but
Well, I'm
I
impressed.
won't count if you don't.
Ah,
So yeah, if you are listening, and I will put this in the little description, and if you're still listening now, let us know what the 5 songs are, or give us a song. Give us a song if you've heard one, and we might just send you some freebies.
some free stuff. Come
Um,
on now, that's worth the effort. Plus, this episode's
Yeah,
been
absolutely.
really good. I mean, come on, we're on
It's-
fire on this episode.
Yes, it has. Yes, it
We've
has.
been
But,
talking about all kind of stuff. And sometimes the movie. Sometimes we talk
sometimes the
about the
movie.
movie, but mostly just other
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah. Are you? I mean, I'm pretty set on my 4 point.
Yeah,
I
I'm locked in.
want to come down, but I almost.
I would.
If we were purely thinking, if we were purely on the story, like the plot and stuff like that, it would be lower. But
Yeah.
with Phoenix performance and how it was shot and stuff like that, I just
Yeah. That's like I said, that's
I
why
don't
it's
know.
such a crazy movie to review because it looks great, but it's a half-assed
It does.
sequel. It's like I don't make sense. So we'll go 4.
Some of the shots, like that trailer shot where she draws the smile on the glass with the lipstick, and he moves into it and smiles. I mean, that's just fucking beautiful.
I'm like,
fucking beautiful.
why didn't you put that much effort into the story of the movie?
Do you know what I mean? Right? It just drives me mad. But okay, so that gives us still just a 4.5 for that. I have told Deej, I was like, well, you need to. I want you to watch this because I want to know what you think of it. I do, and I want to know what he thinks of it because
He will not like it, but he'll give it an 8 because it is a superhero movie.
Well, basically, like it's a comic book in it, so
it's shit. It's shit.
I
It's
can't do
shit.
a good
I'll
thing.
give it an 8.
Yeah. Give us just one positive. What's one positive? No, I don't have to.
But to be fair, you and I hate movies, so it kind of balances
we
out.
do. Apparently we do. Apparently we do. Yeah. All right. Well, look, that was Joker Folie à Deux. We've given it a 4.5. We will do the Rotten Tomatoes because they're quite interesting. What do you think Rotten Tomatoes has said? If you haven't already had a look.
I have not had a
competition
look.
this week,
I have not had a look. God, I don't know because this is gonna be tough because I haven't even heard much positive from the critics. The critics are probably we'll give the critics a 75, and I think the audience is gonna be pretty low. They might be down around us. We'll give the audience a 60.
Critics 33.
Whoa, shit.
Audience 30.
Oh my god. Well, that rarely ever happens where they both agree. Oh my god.
How mental is that? I mean,
They
we
hate it
are
worse than us.
wow,
Jeez.
that's not even that low a number. Critics consensus: Joaquin Phoenix's eponymous Joker takes the stand in a sequel that dances around while the story remains still. Although Lady Gaga's wildcard energy gives Folie à Deux some verve. And that's it. That is it. The story remains stationary. Nothing fucking happens.
No.
We get a little bit of time in the cells. We get a little bit of time in the courtroom. And the whole thing stands fucking still.
Yeah.
Until Stabby McStabberson.
Probably if you break it
it.
down, there's about 20 minutes of an actual movie in this 2-hour and 20-minute movie.
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. I've just seen one audience review. Wanted to walk out midway, but tickets are so expensive. Oh, Susan C. I hear you.
Yeah, we have to sit through it because of the damn podcast.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I was very tempted to walk out. But look, that was Joker Folie à Deux. It's a 4.5 from Just Go Watch podcast. We didn't say it earlier on. My fault. But please do follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Just Go Watch Pod. Find us up on YouTube. Watch our videos there. We do have some sort of physical medium now. Go follow us, subscribe, everything. Send us a message. And of course, if you did hear any Lady Gaga music, get in touch with us on any social media, and you may well find yourself in with a freebie.
How about that? You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
And if you did want to ruin an evening, there is only one way that you're gonna do that, and it involves Joker, and that is
Just go watch.